Mono, Dimios, Kairos.
So you use the scroll, it turns to dust. So you can go ahead and get rid of the scroll off your sheet.
Yeah,
That's
I'll do that.
a good thing because this is an old ancient language of that derives of common. It's called Thoros, and basically with this comprehend languages spell, it goes into this book goes into detail on various ancient cults. Just as you're kind of just like glancing through this, and their religious practices, and there's a bunch of sketches, detailed sketches, and all that good stuff. Now, the cults that are described, that what you're seeing, is mostly that worship demons, powerful spirits, and other, simple cults of that type of personality. Now, it also goes into potential curses, how to counteract curses and whatnot. And then there's also more, there's also a lot of base folk wisdom on the arcana arts and stuff like that as well. So that kind of rings the bell as you're kind of glancing and reading that as to maybe this is what maybe the Harpers is looking for. Now, to get back to you on the book and where you're at right now. Now, you can tell some things between page 78, which, Eigen had this on his journal, that this is where it's depicting some of the cult symbols, the secret signals and prayers and all of the other, all the stuff that's in Thoras. And this is where you basically got the passwords. And this has all kinds of stuff that's referring to this ancient cult that used to worship here. And they were referred as the Just One and the Great One. So that's pretty much everything that you're finding. But you also, with all this information, you can tell that he's definitely in this with Sergeant Grimm. So now that's probably why Grimm's here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Eigen, as both of the stewards, both Darvag and Chandra, said ever since he was a young boy, he's been infatuated with finding this long-lost treasure. So this is probably it. And you can tell that he was definitely an obsessed guy just by these notes on this journal page.
Well, by the way that they're written and everything, it's it's as if he had these thoughts just rambling through his head, and I kind of explain to everybody what I'm finding in it and relay all this to them, but tell them I'm feeling like this is whatever cult they have found is a very evil cult.
Yeah, but he was a worshiper. You're able to tell that he was a worshiper of Tyr as well. So what's going on with that?
Well, somehow the two of them are put together based on the fact of this, perhaps by this dragon run that these worshippers of Tyr were a part of.
But in the last line there, he said digging without soldiers might be dangerous. So maybe he tried to recruit Grim for some help.
Yeah, because he thinks he possibly might be stuff down there that he's not going to be able to take on by himself.
Well, he probably promised him the treasure that he was hoping to find down there.
Yeah, or maybe a part of it. Yeah, and look at the very bottom of the journal. It says digging without soldiers might be dangerous.
Yeah, he definitely was wanting to find this treasure that's hidden below the other tower, and it's no wonder that that Grimm didn't want to ever leave the island.
Yeah, that's probably why he kept wanting to come back. And then you start looking through his journal, because remember, you took his journal as well. And, well, I can't remember who took it, but I remember someone saying that they grabbed it.
I took it.
There's also a couple of notes in there saying that he gifted his superiors a little bit of coin to make sure that he came back to the island for duty.
Yeah, it also looks like Eigen thinks it was dangerous, but Grim thinks it's unimportant, and the evil's literally long gone, gold's gone, and wants to head in anyway, where Eigen's thinking it possibly potentially still going to be dangerous down there.
Omi, I'm afraid that you're probably cursed.
I'm gonna, if everyone doesn't object, I'm gonna take this money and put it back where we found it, because that's when all this weird stuff started happening to me. Before we head over to this west tower.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we can always retrieve it again later if we need to.
Okay. If we're done here, I'm gonna do a quick stop and return the money to the desk where I found it, and then head over to the west tower.
Yeah, I say we head over to the west tower after you drop it off.
I'm up with that.
Sounds good.
Does anything happen when I put the money back?
You feel the same. I mean, when you're traveling through the mansion and when you're leaving the east tower to go to the mansion, yeah, you feel that presence still, whisking. And you guys can see his hair kind of, because there's really no type of wind where you guys are at, and you can see his hair kind of whisking all of the time. But yeah, pretty crazy. But you put the coins back. You put the the symbol of Tyr back, and that pouch. And then as you're moving towards the east tower, it seems to have stopped.
I get back and say, when I say, well guys, I hope that works, because I'm just getting really creeped out here.
So we heading over to the west tower?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. All right, so
Yeah.
when you get to the west tower, I mean, it is wholly empty. As you're walking into the tower, it is totally empty except for dust and cobwebs. And but the first thing you notice, even when you're getting close to the entrance of the door, is you can smell this. I mean, immediately smell this like wet. That wet, freshly turned earth smell that you can smell when you'd be digging out in the rain as a kid or something like that. Well, that's what you smell. And there's a basement, and you travel down into the basement, and you found that the floor has already been broken open and dug down into like a huge stone slab. And then in this basement, the earth is like stacked all along, high along the walls, and then there's all these broken floor tiles that are neatly stacked up in stacks that are kind of going in a half circle. There's all kinds of digging tools that are scattered all about the room. There's a severed rope tied to a ring in the wall leading, to a stone slab. And this, and then there's 3 other 50-foot coils of rope as well on the floor. And this stone slab is huge. It's pretty much 10 foot on a side, and it's got all kinds of glyphs that border the entire stone slab. And then in the middle there's this indention that's sort of like the shape of a human hand, and it's basically in the middle of the slab. So what do you guys think?
Well, who's going to want to put their hand in there and then say these other words that I read off of his journal?
The to mano to megalo.
Yeah, hand to mano to
Yep.
I'll do it, but first I want to inspect the stone and make sure it's not trapped in any other way.
Sounds good.
I'm going to look at the the ring and the rope and just kind of do? Does it look as though they've been placed there purposefully?
Yeah, it looks like it probably assisted in lifting up the stone slab, yeah. They were probably using it as like it looks like sort of like a pulley system. A very
gotcha.
crude pulley system.
I'll pick up one of the hempen rope, or one of the rope pieces, 50 foot.
Sure, yeah. Add it to your sheet. 50 foot of hempen rope. It's in the equipment portion of the
I've already got one. I
handle.
just put a second one in.
Very good. All right. So you're doing a check on this stone slab there, a mechanical check there, Omi. Go for it. Are you doing Arcana or what?
I'm gonna investigate it for any traps of any sort that might be on it, and anything unusual about it.
Okay.
I can inspect the symbols on it and stuff to see if I know or if they look anything familiar with what was in the book and everything.
Sure, go for it. Yeah, give me an Arcana check while you're at it. I like that. So you're looking for, trip wires and pressure plates and whatnot, Omi. You don't find anything. And
Okay.
yeah, the only thing that you can tell with this more vein is it looks like this is where you're going to activate this. Looks like this slab is going to move or something like that.
I don't see any mechanical traps on this thing, guys.
Okay, so should we try and open it?
Yeah, go for it. Get your hand on there. Say the words. I'll stand back here.
I love it, Joe.
So,
That's awesome.
I go ahead and put my hand on the impression and say those words, Tomano, Tomegalo.
So as you put your hand on there and you say Tomano, Tomegalo, you feel this surge of energy just kind of pulse through your body for like a split millisecond. And then all of a sudden, the stone slab just disappears. It's like it just vanishes. I mean, literally just vanishes.
Wow. They must have thought they could pull it off at first with the rope.
Well, yeah, but you had a really bad Arcana check, so.
Oh, well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, but like I said, the runes were all of these runes were really, they were basically dissipated. And the only thing that you could think of is that this trap was probably set off as they pulled that because they couldn't get in. Somebody couldn't get into this. That's what it looks like. So why did they pry this thing off? You know what I'm saying? Who pried it off? Because the password just worked for you guys. And this stone slab just disappeared.
What if, guys, the sergeant, was it Grimm was his name?
Sergeant Grimm, yep.
What if he decided he wanted this for himself and took out the follower of Tyr?
Yeah, maybe Eigen? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Eigen.
So as this stone slab vanishes into nothingness, under it reveals a dark passage that dwells deep into the darkness. And as this stone slab disappears, a very musty, moist air wafts up from this black void that you're looking down into. Now, if you have dark vision, you can see down into this hole.
Okay, what can we see, Dave?
You can see a beautifully finished tile floor, and it's down about 40 feet.
Okay, so the floor's about 40 foot down, so we're going to have to lower ourselves down.
Is there a ladder?
Actually,
Yes, there's a ladder.
it's a staircase. That just
Oh, even better.
very
Okay.
very steep staircase.
I'll lead and check for traps as we go down.
I'll follow him down.
As we go down, I'm going to have to put light on my quarterstaff to be able to see.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so who's going first, second, third, fourth? I mean, you got. I guess you guys are just going to travel down one at a time. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with seeing the passageway open, I kind of look around at everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and start heading down before anyone else.
okay, so you
We'll
start
follow off
descending.
down second.
Okay, so the last person, as you start to descend down into this black void, I guess it would probably be. I'm guessing it would probably be Morvain because he has the light. Morvain,
Yeah, that's fine.
all of a sudden you hear this stone grinding, like and you look above you, and the stone slab is back. Now, you do notice this. There is a handprint in the middle of the stone slab. The same identical stone slab, well, the same identical hand, about 6 inches wide, that was on the top of the stone slab.
Did we all hear
So-
this
Oh
stuff
yeah,
behind us?
yeah. It actually, rubble kind of fell down from the top of the, the earth and ceiling. Oh yeah, you all heard it. That's for sure. You all kind of looked up. Whoa, what the hell was that? And
Marquez would look to the trailing member of our party and ask that he open it back up. What'd you do? Open it back up.
I didn't do anything. It shut on its own, but it does have the handprint there. I'm going to assume we can get it unopened.
I don't assume. Open that thing.
Well, okay. I'll put my hand in the handprint and say to mono, to megalo.
Same thing happened as when Omi did it. You feel this real sudden, slight bursts of energy kind of flow throughout your body, and then the stone slab disappears again.
I turn to Marquesh and say, better?
Huge sigh of relief, and then facing back to the way we were going.
Okay. You guys get down to the bottom of this stair. It's a very steep 40-foot staircase, and you're on a very beautiful polished floor. And that's where we're going to stop for this week, and we'll continue with the last part in 2 weeks.
Cheers, Dave. That was awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, great job, guys. Great job on all the, all of the clue hunting and whatnot. Good job, guys. Very good. All right, so let's do some EXP tonight, shall we? Let me drop this into the group party sheet. So you guys are going to get a total of 200 experience points tonight.
Nice.
Pretty nice.
Nice.
Pretty nice bit of experience.
That's gonna level Omi, but I'll do it another day.
Nice. Level 3, Omi?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll take another level of Bard.
Where does our experience show up at on our sheets, Dave?
On the main tab.
Main tab, and right where it says your class and level, that magnifying glass over to the right hand side.
Ah, got it. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Now as for loot, you guys put all of the loot back, so you have nothing for this week. So maybe next week you guys will find something.
Couldn't just be happy with being cursed.
All right, guys. Great game. That was fun tonight. I had fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys.